Thank you for the introduction, Stan, and thank you for all of you joining us today. Our topic today is the zero trust as a design for a comprehensive, for a holistic network security design, network security architecture. As a matter of fact, zero trust network architectures have been there for a longer time. We have been hearing or experiencing or reading or watching this in the internet in the last couple of years about ZTNA. And one of the misconceptions is that this is kind of a product, that this is kind of only an agent that we need to buy, install, and is up and running, and we are on the secure side. Partially correct, because it's a zero trust network agent, right? But the real conception, and this is the reason why we are sitting here today together, is zero trust as a network architecture, as a network design, as a holistic and comprehensive approach for it. Now, the question at the beginning is going to be, well, what is this? Is this a hype? Or this is really something that is already proven as a design, as something that we can adopt without any risk and without any doubt today. Based on the opinion of, or better say, it is not an opinion, are facts, are research of analysts, institutions like Gartner, they have been analyzing all the kind of emerging trends and emerging technology during this year. As you can see here, how they mature over time, how long they need until they become really a trend or a standard in the market. And as you see, this year, ZTNA is not there. ZTNA has been there in the past 5 years, evolving like all the other different trends that have been evolving from the innovation, from the, let's say, the early adopters, that when a new technology comes, there are certain markets, certain character of personalities that always want to be the first adopting something. We saw them in the innovation trigger. It's the people that always want to have the newest, shiny, bright things until the hype becomes that the majority of the people are there. More conservative, more, I would like to say, experienced people that don't want to adopt something really quick, they wait until the curve goes down through the disillusionment, where we realize, oh, it's not that cool as we thought. And then it becomes more mature, more stable, more standard, and more easily to adapt because it's going to have less flaws, right? This is the case for SASE and for ZTNA right now. We are exactly at the point where ZTNA is a proven technology and not only a hype. Why? And you see, this was already last year happening during the summer of 24. This analysis was already telling us ZTNA is here to stay. ZTNA is the new, right? Now, why is this that urgent? Why is this that important? This is something that we are going to analyze today during the presentation today. So let's move forward, starting with what does really mean zero trust. It's a paradox, as a matter of fact. Then trust is a word coming from Latin, which means confidence, courage, security. It's a sense of creating a bond to someone where I believe, and it's more than a feeling, it becomes a fact in real life that I can really feel strong and firm when I interact with someone. It's what it means. Reflects the significance in interactions in human relationships, right? Create the bond, can be damaged, and once this is damaged, can be rebuilt only hardly, right? In cybersecurity, but means exactly first the opposite. I don't trust no one, and I need to verify everything to strengthen my security posture until I grant to someone access to my resources, to my data, to my devices, to whatever. This is a game changer. If you remember what we have been doing in the last 20 years since we designed network topologies with hub and spoke or having access from site to site, from client to site with VPNs, that was exactly one of the biggest problems we always had with VPNs, teleporting someone into an entire network completely. It's as I would be virtually inside of that network. If that access got compromised in the past and somebody was able to take their rights inside of the network, it was nothing more that could stop a lateral movement. We have seen this in recent attacks since last year being more massive, bypassing, by the way, MFA, which is not only the only security tool that we can implement in this kind of connectivity. So, one time again said before we start really with the topic, Zero Trust is not a product, it's a comprehensive approach to security. Now, let's move forward. Where is this coming from? This has been the evolution in the last 10 years. If you see whatever happened since the beginning of the EDR technology and all the things that we saw in the last 10 years, since 2018, 2019, Gartner defined the Secure Access Service Edge as the new topology for network design. It means no more on-prem, not more only based on data center, huge data centers, but from a service edge coming from the cloud for policy management, for administration, for enrollment, etc., and for connectivity. SASE became the new standard, hitting as well the zero trust adoption through the last years, massively pushed out through the pandemic in the 2020 years since the beginning, and being really evolving, converging with a lot of other technologies in the last 5 years. So this leads us to a mindset shifting. Commonly, we did in the past in cybersecurity, acquiring standalone products to protect an asset. If this was application security, if this was a backup, if this was mail security, if this was maybe network security or VPN backhauling devices, we got for every single problem we had a standalone solution, right? And we thought once we deploy them, we let them run and we are done, right? We are on the secure side of the cybersecurity plan creation and implementation, but we needed to realize that this is not enough, that we need to shift to a proactively design and implementation of security. It means that we need to shift from a passive to an active framework. Why? Because we thought once I deploy it, I am sure. Now we need to think the breach is inevitable. Some of those had already a breach. Some of those had it but don't know it, right? And that's exactly what we need to assume today is the mentality we need to change and say, what would happen in my company if we got an attack and we have a breach today? And the most of the security plans working nowadays, they don't have that mentality. They're just, oh, we are sure here, nothing bad is going to happen. Let's pray tonight that nothing going to happen overnight. It's not going to help, believe me. Now, what do we need to do? Prioritize in the implementation of every single solution the detection and response capabilities. Why? Because commonly an attack or a kind of a breach never happen while working hours. It happened on a Saturday night or a Sunday morning, 3 a.m. during the night, in bank holidays when nobody is there, when nobody can react immediately to remediate whatever is happening. That's the reason why we need to cultivate defense solutions and monitor constantly for vulnerabilities, which that is part of the CTNA architecture. Now, the mindset shifting, and one of the most important things, and this is why we are speaking about this today, is how to minimize the impact of an attack or for a breach, not only because of the reputation damage or the data loss or the money that you may lose or whatever. No, it's because of compliance. Since 2024, beginning of last year and beginning of next year, more and more regulations have been empowered and enforced across EMEA, across Europe mainly. And this is the reason why we want to create more sensibility that in the case of not being compliant with the actual security plan you have in place, the fines that we are going to pay as a company are going to be higher as if we are compliant. We are going to go into this into more detail later today. Let's see first the core principles of a zero trust architecture. One of the most important, and this is why we don't trust no one, is we need to verify. Never trust. We need to know that every user and device is not about username and password and a multi-factor authentication with one-time passcode and I put it and I am sure. No, is about the device security posture before they access resources. It means, imagine I'm leaving the office today and I realize when I'm leaving, sitting in the living room in the evening, I forgot my laptop at work. And I grab the tablet of my partner or my girlfriend, my wife, my son, whoever is lying, the tablet lying around, and I go to the web page of the emails of my company, put my username and password, get my the one-time passcode on my mobile, and I am in and I can read my emails. Bad idea. It's a really bad idea because I am infiltrating, I am handling sensitive corporated data with a not known device in my company. I don't know the security posture of that device. I don't know if this device is just not enrolled, is not on the rigorous security measurements, and I cannot verify this in a zero trust network architecture design. This scenario would never happen. It would be not possible that I reach to incorporate internal resources with a not known, unverified, and trusted device. Easy like that. Second step, last privilege. In the past, as I mentioned before, people were able to go into the use a VPN, client-to-site connectivity, to go fully into a network. We don't know what were they doing inside of the network. They were able to click everywhere to have access to servers, to everything if they knew how to do it, right? But we don't trust no one anymore. What do we do there? We grant only the so-called last access, last privilege access. This means that every single one, based on the role that they have to fulfill in a company, are going to have access to certain resources, to certain applications, and nothing else. So I can know that Matthew or Martin or Rebecca or whoever is going into the company, they are going to have access only to the things that they need to fulfill their debt in the company. And I can verify when, who, what, how long they have been doing something. This is the second core principle of that. And the third one, and it's the most important one, because assuming that everything is working fine, and I go home today at 5 p.m. or later maybe, how do I know that everybody is really doing their debt from the correct things at the right time, having the information to respond to potential threats in real time? Is because I am monitoring what's going on. And I cannot do it on my own with only with one pair of eyes. I need to have systems in play technologies in play nowadays, almost in the year 2026, we don't want to do these kind of things manually. Life is too short and too beautiful to waste it being a little voyeur, monitoring what other people are doing. No, we have artificial intelligence, we have smart algorithms, smart products that can do this for you. Easy like that, right? Those three core principles are the first grant that you can sleep tight tonight when you have ZTNA on place. Let's move forward. What changed? What do we need to go away from classical solutions like client-to-client solutions and now really creating this conscience about zero trust network architectures? What is the real game changer? What was the leap we did here? Well, the problem is that the perimeter disappeared, right? In the past, we had people sitting behind the firewall, sitting in an office. Now they have a few days in the office, a lot of days working from home, a lot of people working from everywhere, from Starbucks, from the airport, from the car, wherever they are. They should be able to have resources to that. The classical perimeter, where we were able to protect everything in our corporated network and infrastructure, just vanished and moved away. Now we say it and we call it the branch office of one, because you and me, everybody that works for a company, we are the last point or the first point of entry, the last point for protection. This is the last fence of our companies is the branch office of one. Is you and me and everybody that works in a company, a corporated environment. We are the perimeter, every one of us. An identity is exactly the key that opens the door, and microsegmentation is the locks. What does that mean? That, and this is the irony behind that, no key makes sense without any lock. It means we need to create a micro environment for every single one of us where we give the key to this person, like me being the user, my identity being granted access to this topology. When I go through that door, I have just a single or small environment where I can work in it, not the entire company. Keys don't make any sense without any locks, and protection needs to go closer to the assets. It means, and the way that I protect every single user going to that, in the same way, I need to protect every single application, every single data store that I create for applications, for data, for devices, for whatever I have in my business model. I need to protect them as well. That, my friends, is zero trust network architecture. It's not only about an agent giving you access to do something. The importance of that agent is because of this, is having the connectivity and the security that once I connect to somewhere, I am going to have access only to one application at a time. When I connect, verify, get granted, etc., etc. Now, let's say goodbye to the site and hello to the edge. Why? Because with the new topology of the secure access service edge, and ZTNA is a part of SASE, right? As I mentioned it before in that storyline I showed you at the beginning of the presentation. This edge is what is going to connect everything physical on-prem, in the cloud, whatever you are using your SaaS applications or whatever you are utilizing to work on daily basis, is putting everything together in the best way and the securest way. And there is also a digital edge in case that you are connecting everything together. You are not going from firewall to get access to everything that is behind. No, this is a single point of entry, intelligent single point of entry that routes you to everything. Let me put the big picture. I show you now the context of zero trust network architecture, right? We at Barracuda created an intelligent design and really a proactive design in the name of all our customers to create an easy way to understand the new world of secure access service edge, right? Called SASE. Every vendor is doing it. We have bought special flavors, let me call it that way, then in a way that we do it really easy. It combines appliances on-prem, service, software as a service, all the SaaS consummation you are doing today in a form of a hybrid service, if you want to call it, that coverage, that converges, better said, that is not just covering all of that, it's converging all network needs, if it's DNS, secure web gateways, or firewall as a service, or data loss prevention, whatever you need for network security in the past and today is converged into the services, right? It's a unified management central console and is cloud first. But, and this is the big but, the big objection that we as Barracuda designers had with this topology that Gartner has been preaching since 2018, we brokered it in favor of our customers because you don't want to send everything through the cloud and create insane amount of data transfer and egress traffic for which you need to pay if this don't make any sense. It means our model is flexible and ZTNA is one piece of all that. We are concentrating today into that, but remember, the zero trust network architecture embeds all of them to create a more robust, reliable, and compliant network design. It can be over a POP network, can be a really easy to use in the case of the consumption, the resources you are paying for the utilization of the service, the agents, the firewall, etc., can be agent-based or can be agentless, whatever you need to apply into your network. And we are going to see this at the end of the presentation in a little bit more detail. So please stay here with me. If you are a little bit confused or you may have some questions, just put it in the Q&A segment, and I can jump into that or do it at the end of the presentation. I know can be a lot. It's not that easy as it was in the past, just at the first sight. If you look it closer, it's getting more simple, but at the beginning may feel like this because we need to deal with all the things that have been growing together in the past. And we at Barracuda have a commitment with all our customers that we are hiding that complexity to create solutions that are easy to consume, to buy, to deploy, to afford, to maintain, to troubleshoot, to live every day with them. And this is exactly what we are doing here. Summarized in 4 different approaches, you can have only DNS access. You know, a lot of vendors are doing it. You may have some of those services already on place. You can have private and internet access through the agent, and this is part of the zero trust topology. Or you can have a premium access, which includes all of them together. Now, what are the key components in the secure edge appliances that Gartner is telling to all vendors to follow and to have? Well, it's easy to go with that. It's the basic SD-WAN capabilities. We at Barracuda have been creating SD-WAN algorithms since the beginning of the 2000s. We were one of the first vendors in the market doing this. We call it at the beginning traffic intelligence. Now is a standard technology in the market with everybody call it SD-WAN, and we have our own proprietary algorithm for it. Oh, just a second, just something happened here. And here we are back. Now, then we have the zero trust network access based access for in and out bound. Can be as well with any kind of link you are using. For all of you don't know what is LEOS, is the Starlink kind of, low Earth orbit satellites. is all these kind of new technologies are able there, available there as well. This encryption, local compute, and the network traffic observability with basic access control. All those are the main things that every single secure edge access service should offer by the opinion and the research of Gartner, which we are doing. Let's stick with the recommendation of Gartner for the next 18 months. They are saying that we need to create architectures based on the vision of the branch office of one secure digital branch, which is everything that we are creating in terms of data creation and consumption. Adopt the SASE in every appliance and hardware refresh. It means if you are sitting on legacy solutions where you are putting a lot of standalone solutions and you need to configure them all separately, we don't have the time. Sometimes we don't have the resources. We don't have the budget to maintain all of them. The next time that you are having the next cycle for renewals of your subscription, you should think about how to converge all of them into a SaaS service, right? And remember how to include all the new technologies that we are facing, um, no matter if you are using a normal dial-in access internet link, whatever, MPLS or satellites, to create this new topology in your network. What is one of the problems we are facing here? To be honest, this is exactly the legacy attitude. We have been doing this all the way this way, and we are not going to change it that easily. I understand that it's not easy to change that mentality in a lot of segments in the market, but let's analyze it a little bit closer. It's because of the budget. We already invested 5 years ago in the vendor XYZ or in these solutions. We have here 4 different vendors or whatever. We already invested. We are not touching this anymore. Problems that are new today, battles that we have been defining in the last 18 to 24 months cannot be solved, cannot be fought uh, with all solutions, no matter if it's a matter of budget or not. But this is one of the most common objections we hear. And the next one is staff said, we don't have the people. We don't have the skilled people to start with new technologies. But now imagine the problem we can have having 5 different vendor technologies and the time you need to invest educating people with 5 different vendor technologies. It's a lot of money, it's a lot of time, and your people get wasted, tired, as if you converge all those technologies into one so-called single vendor strategy. Third one is the architecture. Some of the designs we have in place all around the world, not only in Europe, not only in other regions in the world, can be in Asia, in Africa, in the Middle East, all the same problem. We created architectures for solutions on-prem, for solutions that were not designed to have a holistic approach of security, if in the cloud, if in the data center, if on-prem, because being honest with you, it's not it's not true that everything is cloudy today. The reality is hybrid. The reality is hybrid. We have things everywhere, right? But now you don't want to protect the data center differently and the cloud differently and your on-prem devices and architectures and networks differently. You want to have one approach for all of them, one profile for access your applications or whatever you need to access with one profile, not needed to dial into the cloud and needed to dial into the data center, needed to dial into the office in Timbuktu or whatever. You have one profile, intelligent, that gives you access to all the things you need to be more agile. And the next challenge that we have is exactly that, everything as a service. How do you control? How are you able to control if your people are accessing your uh, SAP or Salesforce or Microsoft 365 or whatever? All that is as a service. They can do it over the browser, right? You don't know when they were there, which time they were working or not, if you don't let them use this zero trust network architecture design. They can tell you, I have been working. How do you know who was when if everything is as a service? How do you control the access? Well, with zero trust network architectures, you can. And last but not least, and this is one of my favorites, is all those legacy solutions that we have in place. We love them. We love our firewalls. We love our VPN backhauling devices. We love all the things that we have been buying and designing and constructing and configuring in the last 20 years. But you never go to a straight fight with a butter knife. We need to adapt the way how we go to the battle of cybersecurity today, and you cannot do it with legacy solutions. It's time to start thinking, rethinking, redesigning all those topologies and getting rid of that. What are the more common inhibitors we have there? One of them is the silos we have. In many companies, when they have a network security, a network department and a security, those don't love to talk to each other. Now imagine you have the data protection guy and you have the email security guy and the application security guy. They never talk to each other. They don't want that. This was a kind of a fight in the last years. The new generation of IT staffs, they talk to each other every day, but they don't know how to solve these problems. And this kind of approach, converging all of them, is breaking those silos. But we need the courage to do it. Some companies don't want, some companies are doing it in a magnificent way. We are here to support this kind of dialogue, this kind of processes where you can maybe be stuck and say, hey, we don't know how to adopt it. We can be here for you. Now, another inhibitor in the adoption of ZTNA designs, in the adoption of SASE solutions, is the understanding and the meaning of POPs. POPs are the so-called points of presence of a vendor. Commonly, commonly, everything by a Gartner definition of SASE, everything should go through the cloud. It's insane expensive, right? Things that don't need to go there, we can at Barracuda make it more customer friendly, more really more cost efficient, that we avoid that. You want to have them for some kind of situations, and that's the reason why you need more pops, right? But that is bound to the performance, to the latency, and a lot of people don't know how all that work and functions and which values do we have if we send the traffic from device to device or to the data center or through the cloud or through a point of presence of a vendor. What happened there? A lot of people don't know that, and this is making the adoption of this kind of topologies more difficult, right? Now, SASE has been here a couple of years. Since 2018, 2019, everybody started to preach SASE. Is, as a matter of fact, still new, right? Some solutions are mature, some are more mature, and you go and buy a car. This one has a Harman Kardon audio stereo inside, another had a Bose, etc., etc. The lacking of feature parity, the lacking of comparison among all of them are confusing a lot of people in the market. Said, which one should I pick? I love my company. I love Barracuda. I am quite honest. Of course, I will tell you we are the best. But being honest, every single company has different setups, different needs, and those need to be analyzed before we say, I'm buying a Volvo, I'm buying a Ford, I'm buying a Tesla. So, no, you need to verify your needs first to see which flavor and which of the features of the entire SASE portfolio are those that fit the best to make your company secure, to make your users happy when they work, and to be compliant in case of a breach. All these three things that are bound to the three core principles I explained at the beginning are helping you to verify the current state of the market and pick the solutions you need. I'm going to come back to that at the end of the conversation. Now, This is exactly what I was saying before. I say it out of my mind. Sometimes we need to verify and find out which is your real use case. It's not just the adoption of something. It may be managed, unmanaged device in the OT, IIoT, IoT environment. Whatever you are doing, we need to verify first. It's not that you buy a product, put it in there, and it's going to solve all your problems. This is naive. We need to analyze it first before you implement it. Let's move forward. And last but not least, and this is something everybody loves, is data loss prevention. Of course, this is one of the things that everybody said, oh, everybody's speaking about that. Do you have that? Do you need that? And where? That is the question. This is one of the most important questions. In which part of your network? And if you are not sending things through the cloud, where do you need it then? Right? Think about. Now, the next stage, this is what we are seeing in the future. As much as we love VPNs, I believe a lot of administrators still need to have VPNs, right? Client to site. But for the common user, and I love to call them the happy clickers because they click everything they see, we need to take them those permissions away. They need to be really tied to the last privilege access. So are we going to reduce all these leaks and possible risk we may have there. Now, let's keep moving on and say, oh, just a second. I lost my mouse, I believe. I hope not. Something is going wrong here. Just give me please a second. Can you still hear me?
Yep, we can still hear you.
Stan? Stan?
Yep, we can hear you, Jesus.
Hello? Oh, okay, you still can hear me. Then let's move on here and make a click. The next state on all these things that are changing us are, of course, having remote privilege access management, which is the RPAM, because I need to know where is who and where they are accessing, as well for cyber physical systems, if everything is going fine, just a second. And the way to integrate with remote browser isolations and data loss prevention. Think about all the people that may be in the supply chain for your company, or people that come to your company to have remote access and do maintenance in third-party services. How do you know what they are doing, and how do you enroll them into your company? In the past, we did it, for example, till 2016, 17, everybody was using SSL VPNs, right? Outdated. They are dead since almost 10 years, and a lot of companies are already still using them. Well, the way to guarantee that everything that they are doing in your company is secure is implementing ZTNA. And for all those unmanaged devices, of course, and for cloud administrators and developer access, you need to have really monitoring control systems that help you to know what is going on there. Why? Because not all those companies that interact with you or have access to all your infrastructure have the same level of security or standard of security as you have. We have seen this in the last breaches in UK, Land Rover, all those companies, all those retail companies in the last years, exactly that. So the third party access in the retail chain, in the supply chain, we saw all these kind of weaknesses being the point of entry for attackers. Let's keep moving. This is another kind of approach. People that said, well, we don't have the money, we don't have the staff, and we don't have the possibilities. Let's do a little bit zero trust. Maybe we're going to change a few of those things, and then we are on the secure part of the business. It's naive to think like that. Why? Because parcel solutions are really um, creating more weaknesses as what they are trying to do. Are creating weaknesses when they let things unfinished, when they mix things that are to shouldn't belong mixed. Sorry for that. Some technical issues here. You don't see my screen, right?
Yeah, we don't see your screen, but you're back with us
Just
now.
was me neither. I just suddenly lost my screens and something bad happened here. Apologize for that. I still cannot see it. It's a totally mess. I am really, really sorry for this. It's a matter of a minute and I am back. Oh no, it's happening again. It's happening again.
Let me see if I can share the remainder of the deck, Jesus.
My screens are getting lost and it's breaking my connection the entire time. So please, if you can share the
Mm-hmm.
slides and click me through it. Exactly. This create a false sense of security because, and this is exactly the point, state of the art is a definition that for compliance purposes is key. It means, let's assume that in the NIST 2, DORA, or whatever regulation is on place since 2024 and beginning of next year, they are really empowered and enforced all across the European Union, for example. And we have been listening to this kind of stories when a breach happens or an audit is happening, and they said, oh, you're still using client-to-site VPN. It's okay, but the rates you paid for your insurance or the fine you are going to pay in a case of a breach are going to be higher as if you have state-of-the-art solutions like ZTNA. And these, my friends, make a huge difference in the approach you have and the conversations the IT staff has with the board of directors of every company. Because they say it's the time to invest in a solid solution, state of the art, and not a mix of parcel solutions just because we want to spare money. We are sparing in the bad, in the wrong place. Now, imagine if we just have mixed solutions or outdated solutions. Vulnerabilities that we discovered 1 month ago are already obsolete. But A system that I deployed 2 years ago, 1 year ago, 1 month ago, may be vulnerable to new CVEs we discovered yesterday. How do we monitor that? How do we know that those vulnerabilities are not going to be exploited? And how I can remediate all these kind of things if the entire solution I am putting in place is just mixed and incomplete, is going to create more complexity because I have mixed stories as if I have one solid, robust solution in place. Thank you for that. Can you please click? Exactly. We may see maybe some immediate benefits, but the risks we are carrying with it may be higher. Let's please move on. Let's start with that. And this is one of the most important things today. What is identity management then? Because it's based on the branch office of one, right? Why are they so important? Because identity helps us to ensure that it's me, my device, my computer, which is enrolled, the hardware, the security posture of all the software that is in my device is part of my identity. Please. And the identity exactly dictates which kind of user with actions a user can take. If I see anomalies because I am able to monitor the entire infrastructure, I would discover that suddenly a user is logging in at 3 a.m. in the morning out from Singapore and said, this is not possible. This is something that is not based on the identity of this user. Or is just logged in 2 hours ago from New York City and said, this guy needs to be Barry Allen, you know, the Flash, and move in that speed from New York to the other side of the world to have an action that is not an anomaly, but you don't have the Flash in your company. So you need to be secure that all those things are role-based permitted actions. And believe me, this is exactly what the bad guys are chasing. They are trying to steal your identity, the identity of the weakest link in your company to infiltrate and to breach and to get infiltrated into your network. If you maybe remember back in the early 90s or the end of the 80s, I don't remember exactly the year, it may be in the 90s, Sandra Bullock had an interesting movie I would like to recommend you called The Net. And this was the first cybersecurity movie explaining how identity theft works. And she got rid of her entire life. This is, of course, a Hollywood movie. But believe me, today, with all those deep fakes and synthetic creation of AI identities, is an actual problem more than ever. Please click. Well, and without identity, oh, well, we saw that already. It's okay. What is identity then? Please, let's move on. Exactly. It's a user embedded in a group with a role, with administrative rights, permissions to get access to all those things you see here, creating audit logs to devices, to have authentication policies, being registered to use certain applications to certain locations in your network, etc., etc. All this is your identity. It's not only your username and password and the MFA in your cell phone, and they say, I'm happy, I'm secure right now. It's much more than that. When all those kind of things matches is when we say we have from zero trust, where we don't trust no one, we don't permit to pass into the network until we say, yes, we are ready to go. Please welcome to the work and you can access to your applications. Next one, please. And speeding up a little bit, this is the architecture of how our solution at Barracuda works. You see it on the side of the Secure Edge agent, which is an agent you can deploy in every single operating system and device in the market. No problem with that. Linux, Macintosh, Microsoft, whatever you are using. And your agent connects to our services for identity, for policies, verification, whatever, and then the connection is straight to your applications in the internet, evil internet, in the cloud or data centers, wherever you have it. Please click. And as you see, that is just possible because the system and the algorithm is going to verify who you are. Is your identity on device posture and the device itself and the role-based access control systems that we have in place to make the decision if you are allowed to reach to the resources or not. Please click. Now, all in one, coming to an end, where are we coming from? As you see, we at Barracuda have been implementing artificial intelligence since the early 2015 years, and all that intelligence is coming all closer to the branch office of one to identify which kind of content you are pushing through the company, through your laptop to the company network, going to the internet, coming back, etc., and more things to come in the next year. So stay tuned with us here because we are preparing, Stan and me and all the entire staff in Barracuda, more webinars with better technology than today. Just sorry for that again. To avoid this kind of incidents, losing the connectivity, and to show you how we as a vendor are creating more security for the branch office of one. Where is this coming from? Please click, Stan. We at Barracuda, we have been working here since over 25 years, almost 27 years, if we count the years of the company Fion, where I'm here based in Innsbruck and acquired 2008, 2009 for the zero trust topology, firewall, secure edge, etc., etc. And as you see, we have a broad portfolio of products, right? Now imagine being in the email segment or in application security or in the network security, the web security, all of our products converging that threat intelligence for the benefit of all our customers. We can be way more faster and way more efficient than all the other vendors that are focused in one segment, in one product in the market. Because the intelligence that we share across all of them, please click, are coming together since this year into the Barracuda One platform that we can monitor and observe all your assets and make the recommendations to create a compliant and holistic security plan for you, not mixing things, but really, as we said, filling the gaps because you don't have the staff, you may not have the budget, you may not have the time to go and make those kind of reviews on your own. We are here to support you. We are here to go with you and make this kind of analysis of your environment and help you to go step by step in the adoption of a zero trust network architecture. Please click. Well, my next steps, my recommendation to you are exactly that. Verify your identity. What are you doing in your company, right, to protect your users? Consult us, reach out to us in every region where we are. We have a Barracuda representative, sales engineers that can help you. If you don't find any, reach out to me, reach out to Stan, and we are going to lead you to find a consultant that is going to help you and embrace the change, not because it's something that we may not afford in financial terms. It's not an excuse to start analyzing your environment. Believe me, you don't want to have any problems with that. We are not here only to sell you products. We want to make a consultancy for you, and it's for free. So you can reach out to us and see in which status is your network, what you may need, and we can guide you over that process if you want us to help you. And once that's said, would like to say thank you for your understanding and your comprehension about the technical issues we had here, and thank you, Stan, for the help. We still have 5 minutes for open questions, so please feel free to put it in the Q&A, and if not, please send it over mail. You are going to get the email after this session with the recording and all the information. If you may have questions, reach out to us. Otherwise, you can find me in LinkedIn as well. It's really easy. There is not much Jesus Corderos over there. I'm here to support you. But Stan, please help me with that, with the questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Jesus. And thank you everyone for bearing with us with the technical difficulties. At least you know it's a live webinar that you're on. So we have had some questions. If anyone does have any others, then now's the time to send it through to us. Um, so I guess first one, Jesus, what would be the realistic timeline from initial setup to full production for a typical organization implementing Zero Trust?
It depends of the setup, but commonly the analysis of the actual solution and observing the assets, the amount of users, the solutions in place, planning the transition, the testing, and so on, maybe 3 weeks to 4 weeks, 1 month, sometimes less, because that is the beautiful, the beauty of our solution is easy to buy, easy to use, easy to deploy, right? So I am encouraging you if you want to make a test of this kind of solutions, it's for free. My team can help you. I have a really amazing army of technicians all across EMEA that can help you to embrace the change, to make it easy for you to get common to the solution and test it to find out if this may be something for you or not. Thank you for that question.
Awesome. Thank you. Shad, yes, we will be sending the recording out. So you'll receive that from us tomorrow. Um, so how do you handle organizations that need to authenticate users from different directories simultaneously?
Is not a problem because those are only authentication schemes. You may have LDAP and MSID or Entra ID nowadays or whatever you have. And this is for some purposes, dividing the groups, dividing the entities. You may have a large dispersed environment with different locations and different authentication schemes. Not a problem at all. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
And
Thank you.
I see another question from Moktaba El Sayed in the chat. The answer is yes. Is Barracuda going to provide cloud secure gateway as SASE part covering CASB and RBI, DLP in a different way, maybe as you may be expecting it? But yes, we are doing it. And stay tuned, Moktaba, for all our updates we are releasing during the next couple of weeks and months. If you want to get in touch with us and make a POC or have a product walk through all the solutions, please contact us. We are here to support you in that regard.
Perfect.
Another question?
Maybe final question just before
Yes, please.
we conclude. So how does Secure Edge specifically help with data privacy regulations that require strict access controls?
That is exactly one of the most important questions today. Thank you for that question. When it comes to compliance, is a solution which is state of the art because we are converging all the solutions. We are not combining or integrating, different standalone solutions and you put it. We are not doing a do it. Bring your own device, bring your own solution, and sticking all of them together like some vendors are doing it in the market today. We are converging all of them to make a holistic and resilient and compliant solution for all of our customers. That is the answer to the question.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I think we'll wrap it up there. Thank you, Jesus, for answering those and for all the insights. Thank you to our audience for joining us today. We hope you found the session useful. Um, we've got a lot of great webinars planned for the new year, so make sure to look out for invitations to those. I will be sharing the recording to this presentation in our follow-up email tomorrow, so make sure to look out for that. Thank you very
Thank you so
much,
much.
everyone.
Thank you to everybody. Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Bye bye.